Get into it. Jack Smith right there looking shocked. Listen, if anybody follows this guy on social media, if you know him, anything, shoot him a DM, check to see if he's okay. All right? You got to check on your boy because the special documents case has been dismissed. Trump is not playing around. He said it would get dismissed. They were moving for it to get dismissed. And Judge Canon, the judge that was on this case, actually ruled that based on the Constitution, Jack Smith was appointed unlawfully, which is what Trump lawyers were saying the whole time, just in case you thought they sounded crazy. Let's get into what actually went down.
Judge Canon, she has dismissed the Trump classified documents case because the special counsel prosecution is in violation of the appointments clause of the Constitution. Of course, the special counsel in the case may appeal this case, so the saga may not be over yet, but that breaking news just coming into us right now at CNN. Let me go to CNN's Caitlin Polance. She joins me now. Caitlin, I know this is a very sudden development with lots of implications. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Judge Canon is closing the classified documents case against Donald Trump. This was charged about a year ago in the Southern District of Florida, where prosecutors from the special counsel's office, so an office that was appointed by Merrick Garland for the particular reason to look at this in some sort of protected, independent way from the rest of the department. They brought more than 30 charges against Donald Trump for mishandling classified records after the presidency and for obstructing justice, that investigation, trying to keep them when the government wanted them back. Judge Canon is now saying that prosecutor doesn't have the ability to bring this case in court, and thus it must be dismissed. What she's doing here, Jim, is very much in line with what Justice Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court said in a concurrence just a few days ago in the presidential immunity case. He wrote about the special counsel's office and Judge Canon's finding here. The reason that this case can't go before her is she says this special counsel just doesn't have the power in the way that she reads the Constitution. Thus, it's done.
Oh, man. Look at her. That's a future Supreme Court judge right there. I'll tell you what. Trump is going to win. Trump is definitely going to win. He can become number 47. And then he's going to appoint her to the Supreme Court. 100%. He's going to be like, get in there, Canon. Get in there. Give him hell, Canon. Go ahead. That's exactly what's going to happen. And you know what? It's based on the Constitution. I know there's a lot of Democrats that are like, well, we have to rewrite that thing or get rid of it or something. But you can't do that. And it's always great to see a judge or any politician go back to that document because there are so many people nowadays, not just with the First Amendment and Second Amendment, but they really do try to almost not even loophole the Constitution, but they just try to go around it. They really do quite a bit. So it's really great to see a judge not do that and actually, hold up the Supreme document. Let's hear a little bit more on this whole thing. They're going to go a little deeper into it. Here you go.
Against Donald Trump in this classified documents case and his co-defendants on the grounds that the appointment of the special counsel violated the appointments clause of the Constitution. This is an issue that has been litigated in other special counsels, has never succeeded, but Judge Canon has accepted the arguments of the defense that the appointment of Jack Smith and other special counsels by inference has been improper and illegal. And I'll just read you briefly from the opinion here. She says the bottom line is this: the appointments clause is a critical constitutional restriction stemming from the separation of powers, and it gives to Congress a considered role in determining the propriety of vesting appointment power for inferior officers. The government's position, she says, effectively usurps that important legislative authority, transferring it to a head of department. Let me translate that. The Attorney General appoints the special counsel. There's no law, there's no act of Congress establishing the office of special counsel after the independent counsel law went away. What Donald Trump's lawyers argued is that that's improper. The special counsel has a lot of power. He should be established by law and confirmed by the Senate, and he's not. And Judge Canon has accepted that argument and dismissed this indictment. Now, this is very likely to be appealed by the special counsel to the circuit court. It may go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And what's really interesting here, Jose, is in the immunity opinion, Judge Clarence Thomas filed a concurrence where he raised this issue, and he all but said that he believed that the appointment of Jack Smith and other special counsels was unconstitutional under the Appointments Clause. And many of us said at the time that that was, in essence, giving Judge Canon a leg to stand on here if she wanted to rule in this direction, which no other judge, Jose, no other judge has ruled. And now she's done that, and she has dismissed the indictment in the classified documents case against Donald Trump and his co-defendants.
The entire indictment dismissed by Judge Canon.
That's correct.
I want to go to Vaughn Hilliard, who's standing by. Vaughn, just monumental breaking news on this case.
And I'll just say this here, Jose. Of course, we do not understand what the timing of this is and if it correlated at all to the apparent assassination just 36 hours ago in Pennsylvania here. But when we are looking at this ruling by Judge Canon, it takes me to a conversation I had last night with the close ally of Donald Trump's, who is a part of the convention team here in Milwaukee. And I asked him about what this moment with the attempted assassination means. And as Donald Trump is calling for a unified America, I said, what does that look like? He said, in part, that needs to be the end of these prosecutions against him. And less than 12 hours since I had that conversation with that individual, there is the federal indictment here related to the alleged transfer of classified documents to his Mar-a-Lago property, as well as the obstruction of justice to cover up the alleged obstruction of justice to cover up the fact that he had those documents with the two co-defendants is now dropped. As Ken said, this will be able to be appealed to the 11th Circuit here, but this is a notable legal victory for Donald Trump in the immediate. We are 3.5 months to the election. Of course, in a matter of hours from now, I believe about 4 hours from now, is when the more than 2,000 delegates are going to fill into this arena here for the beginning of this convention. You're going to have the prime time addresses here. We are waiting for his VP announcement. For Donald Trump, this is a considerable victory here. Of course, there is much that we can go through with that indictment in what the immunity decision ultimately could have meant to this as we begin to work through this more than 90-page decision here by Judge Canon to dismiss. But what was alleged inside of this indictment was very serious, and now clearly pushing to dismiss it on the grounds that the special counsel was improperly appointed by the Department of Justice to oversee this case. Of course, we are waiting to see Donald Trump, and whether we could see him as soon as today. We have not seen him publicly out of.
Gonna see him with a smile on his face. Look at that. This guy escapes death. Cases getting dropped left and right. There we go. Back on, just announced his VP. It's JD Vance. I'm not super happy about that, but I'm glad. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I could say that. I'm sure he's doing it for a reason. He doesn't do things for absolutely no reason. So I'm sure there's a good reason behind it. But that is what's happened. And there is some footage. There is some footage of Jack Smith since the whole thing's gone down. There's some footage here of him. So just check this out. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Yeah. Yeah, it's Jack Smith. It is. You can trust me. You can trust me. I have good sources tell me this is Jack Smith. Just broken down. Just broken down from the whole thing. You know, that's what that Constitution does, you know? It puts you in your place. It humbles you. Jack Smith there, teary-eyed, very upset. Understands that this means that President Trump is definitely going to be elected. Can't make him look like a criminal. He's broken up. He's real sad about this whole thing. Understandably so. You know, that's what happens when you work with the Department of Justice and they're just trying to throw cases all willy-nilly. Of course, this has nothing to do with any political opponent type of thing. That's not what's happening. It's not a prosecution of a political opponent at all. But I understand why Jack's so upset. Again, if you guys know Jack, if you know him, hit him up, social media, let him know it's going to be okay. Send your well wishes for him. As you can see, he's broken up about the whole thing. This is the Netflix version of Jack Smith. Oh man. When they tell the story on Netflix, this will be Jack Smith, just black with dreadlocks. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But shout out to Eileen Canon. There she is. That is the judge that followed the Constitution. There's going to be a lot of people upset with her. Just the fact of how she handled this case from the very beginning. A lot of Democrats, MSNBC, CNN, they were all very upset with her. They were talking about how she's not qualified. Somehow, she's a legit judge. She's been a judge. They're like, she's not qualified to handle this case, all because she wasn't doing the whole, oh, are we getting Trump? And just jumping on the bandwagon of, okay, let's put him in jail. Let's do whatever we can to him. She was actually being very fair, very down the middle. And when things didn't make sense on the Democrats and what they were trying to do, I'm just going to call it that, Jack Smith, that whole side. When things didn't make sense, she called it out. And if things didn't make sense on Trump's side, she would call it out. She was very, very fair. And at the end of the day, she read the Constitution. She understands the Constitution. And she realized the Department of Justice, Jack Smith, they were violating the Constitution. And you cannot just violate the Constitution and think it's all good because you're going after Trump. I've seen it too many times, from the Constitution to empathy to sympathy to manners to your beliefs in racism. All of it gets thrown out the window when you're going after Trump. It becomes okay to say whatever you want about him, to say whatever you want about his supporters, to call them extremists, to call them racist. If they're black, you call them all sorts of other names. They don't know that they're black. It's wild where people's minds go in the face of Donald Trump. It's so wild to me. And the Department of Justice, Jack Smith, no different. They thought, who cares about the Constitution? This is all about getting Trump. And this lovely judge said that is not going to fly. Great. Fantastic. Trump is right now at the DNC. I think I have it going on in the DNC, sorry. The RNC. I think I have it live. Do I have it live somewhere? Yeah, I'm watching the whole thing go on right now. I have it muted right now just to see what's going on. Everybody, flying colors. California, 169 delegates. I believe, I want to say Alabama was something, or New Hampshire was 22, I believe. Arkansas, I think, was 50 something. They're all so ready to have Trump be the nominee. Of course, he's the only one. Who else is there, really? So it's a great time. It's a great time. Like I said, I just said this a little while ago in a video. You keep your head up. There's no need to be so shooken up about what happened. He's good. God is good. You know, everything's good. Everything's being provided for. Cases are getting dropped. This guy's for sure going to be the president. And then from there, we just have to pray that he makes the right decisions when he's in office, and that his vice president doesn't try and stab him in the back or anything like that. But other than that, guys, just wanted to bring you that little tidbit, that little bit of good news in the midst of the most horrible thing that's happened in American history in a very long time. In a very long time. An assassination attempt is a wild thing to have happen, especially the implications of who did it. It shakes everything. But just wanted to bring you guys that. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. Helps tremendously. Other than that, I'm out.